So tell us what we're doing here today.
So we're presenting a little bit of Tick, Tick, Boom. We started rehearsal on Monday, and with a great cast, and it's a great show. And we're just at the beginning of the process, but it's very exciting.
Tell me what attracted you to this project.
I had only known the album of Tick, Tick, Boom, but I'd always been interested in Jonathan Larson's story and interested in what he was trying to say before he wrote Rent and as he was writing Rent and after he wrote Rent. To me, it's a story for and by artists, but it also speaks to the creative side in everyone and the side that wants to be free and creative. And it's a really beautiful piece. It's a great cast. Yeah.
So here you are this summer directing, this musical that has a huge fan base. Talk about Tick, Tick, Boom and what attracted you to it.
Well, my first experience with Tick, Tick, Boom was in 2001. Actually, my first job when I moved to New York City was loading in the sets and lights for that production, which set in motion a 6-year period where I did stagecraft to supplement my work as a director. So, my experience in New York City, surviving in the theater, working on the stage, but also away from where I actually wanted to be directing, was started working on Tick, Tick, Boom, which, oddly enough, is about a young artist who has struggled in it, having day jobs, trying to keep it afloat, and is deciding whether or not he wants to stay in the business. So when I first, got the offer to work on this, immediately you're like, I get to work with Lin, and then we got the rest of the cast. There's so many reasons to work on this. But very personally, I have a very sort of direct umbilical connection to the struggling life as an artist, and this show in particular, and I couldn't turn it down.
When were you first aware of the musical? Because this has a huge following.
Yeah, I was first aware in college. I had done Rent in New York before college, and so Jonathan meant so much to me and everybody in my generation, really. And so because he left us so soon, we kind of latched onto anything we could, anything that he left behind, because we wanted to know as much as we could about the man that had made this thing that we love so much.
And talk about working with your friends. It must be amazing to do that when you're working on a piece.
Yeah, well, the reason why I showed up is to see Lin-Manuel play this part. He's so passionate about this part, so passionate about this piece. He understands this guy, he understands these questions, and so he's not going to let anybody down.
So, since you're new to Encores, what's the whole experience been like for you, and what are you expecting?
I told Jeanine Tesoriis on the first day, I'm so happy that she has this job. I love what they do here. First with the Broadway musicals, and now with the Off-Broadway musicals. It's I'll say, the questions that this piece asks, and the issues that it's grappling with. It's going to be really good stuff for the Encore season.
And what you love about this score, talk about that.
Well, the score is unbelievable because if you love Rent, which most people do, you can hear pieces of Rent and all of this. You can hear, like, I keep talking about this one specific part, but in No More, there's a couple of bars of music that sound so much like the beginning of Rent. The ba-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na, you know that I'm talking about? That every single time it's like you forget that this is the man that created that. And if you really sort of allow yourself to like go on the journey, you can see like flashes of the things that he talks about in Rent, and where he goes more into depth about specific issues. So it's a great journey for me, but I think that's why people cling to it so much. We don't have a lot of his material, so anything that we can get, and it was so brilliant. I think that people are just soaking it up and sort of like dissecting it and wanting to like get deeper into it. So this is a wonderful thing for encores to do at this time.
Because like you said, you see the genesis of everything. You hear the music from Rent. You hear what he became.
Absolutely, and it's also the wonderful thing about it being encores. This was like a rough project in the sense that it wasn't completely finished by him, and encores right now we don't have a whole lot of time, so we are trying to be really respectful, and we are trying to create with the material that we're given. And nightly it will probably be a different show. We're going to be trying to like mine jewels from like the material that he left us to see if we can sort of get deeper. So.
And let's just talk about the importance of encores, the type of shows they do, and this summer series with looking back at the best of Off-Broadway.
Yeah, well, I think that, not being in the city anymore, this is kind of, everyone's like, what is encores? And I was like, oh, it's the place that you go to see like some of the amazing scores and amazing shows that didn't get a fair shake. And you get like the best of the best to like put their heads together and say, how can we like come up with like the best version to give this another life, to throw it back onto the New York stage and have people go, oh yeah, that was amazing. Wow, I wish I would have seen that, And then hopefully it has a life down the line, maybe more people will start doing it in like regional theaters and things like that. But it's just sort of like a second chance and a more in-depth look at material that, was overlooked.
And performing again in New York with your friends, how that makes you feel?
It's like coming home. It's really outstanding. It's really fun, and it feels good to sing again and, try to work problems out. And I couldn't ask for a better situation.
How does it feel to be back?
Oh, it feels so great. I mean, I'm literally doing a show with two really good friends of mine, and it's one of my all-time favorite shows, so I couldn't be happier.
So how did this all come about for all of you? You all know each other.
Yeah, well, Karen and I are basically married 8 times a week, and in the Heights, and then I also worked with her in my capacity as translator on West Side Story, but she's family to me. I mean, she's a sibling. And Leslie and I have been working together on Hamilton. Leslie has been really important in developing the work. He's an incredible performer and singer and dancer, and most people don't know this, but rapper as well. And so, the fact that we all came together like this is really kismet. I mean, this is really like him playing my best friend and Karen playing, like, it's like the easiest like role I've ever played in that sense.
And talk about the show itself. Take me back to the beginning. This musical has such this huge fan base. What did you love about it originally? What attracted you?
So I saw this show for the first time my senior year of college, and I saw it 3 times at the Jane Street Theater. I was a senior, and I was about to go into the real world and move to New York and try to make my dreams come true as a composer. And this thing was like a prophecy. It was like a bat signal. It was like a sneak preview of what my 20s would be. Jonathan gives us such a gift by painting how hard it is to be an artist in New York, and the fear and the hope and the way you will whiplash from fear to hope to despair to I can do anything to it's never going to happen for me. I mean, he goes through all of it in this 87-minute musical.
I know it's early rehearsals. What's it been like so far?
So far, it's been a blast. I mean, it really is a blast. I have loved these songs since I was, 22 years old when I first heard them, and getting to sing them is joyous. Getting to sing them with voices I already know and love is great. Come to Your Senses is one of my favorite songs of all time, and one of my favorite singers of all time is going to sing it, and I'm going to have the best seat in the house while she sings it. So I just can't wait.
And being a part of Encores, you were here for Merrily We Roll Along, which I got to see 6 times during that run. I was obsessed with that production. You blew me away. What was it like? Talk about that experience, what that meant to you.
It meant everything to me. You know, it's so funny, like, City Center has become this weird niche in my life where they allow me to play the most close to home characters here. You know, I got to play a lyricist in Merrily We Roll Along. I get to play a songwriter in Tick Tick Boom. So I sort of come home when I come to City Center, and I get to play these very close to the bone characters that are dealing with what I deal with in my real life every day. So it's enormous fun, and you know, having a week of rehearsal. You're going to see us sing after having rehearsed for a day and a half. We will put the show up after 9 days, and you're just shot out of a cannon. So it's great to have friends around. You know, doing Merrily, Colin and Celia became my best friends because you have no choice, and they are still my best friends. But that's the kind of closeness that this kind of intense, sort of summer stock feeling schedule allows.
Are you saying we can't talk?
Are you saying we're not talking?
What are you saying?
What are you saying? I'm saying I feel bad that you feel bad about me feeling bad about you feeling bad about what I said, about what you said, about me not being able to share our feelings.
Then my reaction to your reaction to my reaction would have been more revealing.
I was afraid that you'd be afraid if I told